What in the all types of blue hell? This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
Bring back the Seattle Supersonics. Oh, I'm sorry. 16 after the hour, hanging out with codename The Playmaker. And Cole Johnson will be along for hour 2. Let's go to the Fanatics feedback zone very quickly. Victor Locke is here. We've been hacked by codename The Playmaker. Playmaker responds, which means this is going to be a lot of fun because we always have fun when Playmakers here. Now,
And then
Cole
Snowman hits me with a right hook.
I did. How?
Coming out of break, and he brings up the Seattle Supersonics.
Well, did I lie?
I was ready to hear about baseball, and he hit me with another basketball reference.
And the problem is? I mentioned the Seattle Supersonics. So?
They don't exist.
Yeah, they do. They're just in the wrong place. They're just in the wrong place. I may have to get a stronger boom stand thanks to this microphone that Cole sent me, which I absolutely love. All right, in case you don't know or didn't know, after reports surfaced that Baltimore's television play-by-play man Kevin Brown was taken off the air for comments he made about the team's poor record in the last few years against the Tampa Bay Rays, several prominent baseball announcers came to his defense. A couple days after that, legendary NFL announcer Al Michaels joined the chorus. He cut his broadcasting teeth, of course, with baseball in the minor league baseball Hawaii Islanders, then became the radio voice of the Cincinnati Reds. Said on ESPN's Outside the Lines, he originally thought Brown's suspension had to be a joke. Here's the Hall of Fame announcer in his comments.
When I heard and read about it, Jeremy, I thought it was A, either a joke, or B, there had to be something much more insidious behind the suspension. And now that I realize that it had almost everything to do with apparently what was said about Tampa Bay and playing the Rays and having a lot of success recently when they had none in the last 3 years, I agree there should be a suspension here. They should suspend the doofus that suspended Kevin Brown.
Pow!
1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000% correct. And I'm not even a big baseball fan. How you going to suspend somebody? Because they brought up facts.
Which was accompanied by a graphic.
Now, if you want to sit here and try to have a real reason why you suspended him, then you're making yourself look even more stupid.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But you was suspending an announcer
Mm-hmm.
for bringing up how terrible you were
the last 3 years
at a ballpark in South Florida.
Mm-hmm. That ain't Miami.
What are we doing Miami here? So we gonna suspend. Okay, so pretty much, if the Orlando Magic's announcer was to come out and say that the Orlando Magic has struggled beating the Fakers for the past 5 years, they gonna get suspended.
God love you, Playmaker. God love you. You read my mind. With the second half of that statement.
The Orlando Magic have been terrible against the Lakers ever since we lost to the finals against them.
Yep, since 2009. Since 2009.
They bring it up. They ain't suspended. Oh, what if the Rams announcers decided to say, hey, we have lost to the San Francisco 49ers 8 straight regular season games, and we do terrible at Levi or Candlestick Park. It don't matter which one you play it. The Rams lose there religiously. Are they gonna get suspended? Because they spoke facts, and everybody knows this. This is nothing that's hidden.
Mm-hmm. I have no idea. And you know, the doofus in this case, let me read from this article, is Chairman and CEO John Angelos of the Orioles. Your team, you know what? Matter of fact, this is going to be a tag team effort. John Angelos, you need one of these. And I'll couple it with this. No, actually, I'll couple it later. John Angelos, what the hell are you thinking? Now, apparently Kevin's coming back Friday, or has been back since Friday, and he shouldn't have been off the microphone anyway. He shouldn't have been off the microphone anyway for speaking facts about a situation, which is the Orioles' recent record against the Rays, and the graphic that they put up accompanied it. Matter of fact, all the stats that Kevin Brown stated were in the stat pack that you get at a ballpark when you're part of media. I've covered White Sox games. I've covered Indians games. Don't ask me why. I've covered professional baseball for the better part of 15 years. Most of the time, that's been with the Gary South Shore Railcats in Gary, Indiana. But be that as it may, if you're at a professional ballpark, you're going to get a stat pack. And if you're doing a television broadcast, the stats that they're going to put on the screen to accompany you repeating them, basically, needed to be approved by the production team. That graphic was put together at least 90 minutes before air. And you're going to suspend Kevin Brown, your young play-by-play announcer, for repeating something that was in a stat pack? For repeating something that was, I don't know, factual?
You know what? Let me keep it within the arena of where that is at.
Please do.
Who was the announcer for the New England Patriots?
Bob Sochi.
Yeah, Bob Sochi was to come on air when the Patriots go down to Miami, and he brings up the history, even that includes Tom Brady.
Yes.
Of them going down to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Should he be suspended?
All right, let's go one step further. And this is for Victor, if Jeff Joniak, the fabulous radio announcer for the Chicago Bears, mentions a set of facts of how terrible the Chicago Bears have been against the Green Bay Packers, is he going to get suspended? And the facts that Jeff Joniak will mention against the Packers are in a stat folder. Saw one with the Detroit Lions. Sorry about that, folks. Saw that with the Detroit Lions. Saw a stat folder with the Detroit Lions when they played at Soldier Field, which is where I'll be on September 2nd. But you get a stat pack. Hell, I make stat packs, for God's sakes. When I did my college football at Trinity International, I made the stat packs for our team. I made the stat packs, and I went over every stat that I was going to mention during a 60-minute pregame show, and they got approved. All of them. I didn't get suspended once.
See, the first time Snowman and Cole talked about this, I couldn't say that because I didn't really know what was going on. I just know an announcer got suspended, so I'm like, okay, what did he say on there to get suspended? Right. Now that it went over and I actually found out what happened, like, you mad because he brought up what y'all couldn't do at Tropicana Field until this season?
Which is win a series at Tropicana Field. which is, let me
Really?
say it again, win a series at Tropicana Field.
Really? Now, I'm not going to dive into this news. I'm just going to bind it together because now it's starting to make sense to me. So you got an announcer who can tell the truth and get suspended, and then we got people getting rated. We got a news company getting rated out in Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on here, man?
I wish I could tell you. I honestly wish I could tell you. Victor Locke from Chicago. Not only that, facts they approved of before broadcast. Absolutely. Because when you're doing a television call, and Victor and I have done a couple with Chicago State, about 3 years worth, everything they approve before broadcast. If they don't like it, they take it out of the pregame show or whenever you're going to mention it.
So now you telling me this got approved?
Yep. I did a Spurs game with the legendary Bill Schoenig. We got a stat pack before air. I did the game in Charlotte. Bill was writing his notes from that stat pack when I arrived. I looked, it's the same stat pack that's distributed to both television and both radio teams. I met the radio team for both I know Bill for the Spurs. I worked with him. I was a statistician for a night. And Bill already approved wherever I go, be it Chicago, be it Indianapolis or Charlotte, that I'm his stat guy. I know Eric Collins, the play-by-play man, the television play-by-play man for the Charlotte Hornets. Sam Farber, the radio guy for the Charlotte Hornets. All those guys are good friends of mine. And they tell me the same thing. We don't say anything on the air unless it gets approved. They all told me the same thing. I've known Eric Collins since 1998. Let me play Al Michaels' comments again. This is Hall of Famer Al Michaels' reaction to Kevin Brown's suspension.
The great Al Michaels.
The legendary Al Michaels.
When I heard and read about it, Jeremy, I thought it was either a joke, or B, there had to be something much more insidious behind the suspension. And now that I realize that it had almost everything to do with apparently what was said about Tampa Bay and playing the Rays and having a lot of success recently when they had none in the last 3 years, I agree there should be a suspension here. They should suspend the doofus that suspended Kevin Brown.
Matter of fact, I got something better.
Al Michaels with her. He called him a doofus. Al Michaels with
He is John Angelos is a damn doofus.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I ain't expect Al Michaels to go that far.
Where have you been? I kid when I say that, of course, but man, this ain't the first. Yeah, you're right. The normally reserved Al Michaels said this. He's already a Hall of Famer. He's got the NFL on lockdown. I'm sorry for that. See, my wife got me a new toy to help me manage my diabetes, and it tends to go off from time to time. But I don't have to prick my fingers anymore. Let me play this for Al Michaels.
Great for Wednesdays now.
You know what? You're not wrong. Let me play this for the legendary Al Michaels. Now give me this camera. John Angelos, you should be ashamed of yourself for not only making the suspension, but allowing it to go through without reviewing what was said. I'm willing to bet that you didn't take one damn look at that stat pack, especially the stats that were brought up for the Orioles' lack of success against Tampa Bay at Tropicana Field. I'm willing to bet you didn't take a look. Matter of fact, I'm not only willing to take a bet that you make a bet that you didn't look, I'm also willing to make a bet that you don't look at all. No matter what the game, no matter what the opponent. I am inclined to think that you don't look at the stats that your team had put up until this year against the Tampa Bay Rays. And now that they won a series there, you want to suspend your television announcer for something that was approved prior to game time? I'll repeat my statement. I'm willing to bet that you didn't even look at that stat pack. I'm willing to bet you didn't even look at the recent lack of success that your team has had against the Rays. And now that you're leading the division, now you want to try to keep everything in your circle on the up and up? Shut up. I know Kevin Brown said the right things, like we have a great relationship, but I'm agreeing with Victor. I said this about the Redskins. I'm going to say it here. I bet you that suspension was a smokescreen for something bigger going on with the Orioles organization. I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong when I make this prediction. I would love for this to be a prediction that's sure to go wrong. I would love for that to happen. But I agree with Victor. There is something very hideous and very sinister lying underneath. And when it's that hideous and that sinister that you suspend your television announcer over something that is not that should not even be consequential, that should not even cause him to miss, I don't know, 2.5 weeks worth of games, you are stupid, you are a doofus, you are sad, and there's something sinister going on in your camp. I'll say it again. I would love to be wrong in saying that. I would absolutely love to be wrong in saying that. But there is something that's very sinister going on with the Orioles in the midst of a playoff season. Stupid.
How ironic. How ironic.
Stupid. Absolutely stupid.
You suck for so long, and all of a sudden you're starting to win, and all of a sudden you're having problems. Makes perfectly sense.
Where have we seen that before? Where have we seen that before? Stupid, idiotic moves. Stupid! And that signal tells me my time is up. John Angelos, you needed this.